I definitely want to start by saying thank you so much for your time. Thank you for making time in your day to speak with me and Awards
Course.
Buzz.
Thank you for having me.
How are you feeling? Let's get to it, Ellie. How are you
All
feeling
right.
today?
I mean, I'm good. Today's my day off. I'm shooting here in Seoul, so it worked out perfectly that I could talk to you today. So thank you, because I know it's late over there.
Yeah, it is, but that's perfectly fine. It's all about you. I would love to just jump straight in. I have to know, what does it feel like not only being a part of a show that is greatly appraised, but also highly award nominated? Like, what does that feel like? Because this series, The Diplomat, like, it's given all the things.
I mean, I feel so lucky, like I do think that a lot of times you make stuff and you think, I don't love this, but I'm happy that other people are into it. And then other times you're like, I love this, but nobody cares. And sometimes you get that special thing where I'm so proud to be a part of this show. I think the writing's so excellent. I think the actors are so excellent. And then to be met with that same kind of love out in the world is, I mean, that's the icing on the cake. So I know it's a special thing, and it's a little bittersweet because you're like it's so rare,
Yeah.
um, but I'm just so happy to know that people are responding to the same things that we respond to every time we get a script.
And I feel like that's the perfect segue into my next question. Like, what is it that you feel like keeps the world and the viewers so locked into this? Like, millions upon millions. I literally cannot even get into the viewership in the numbers aspect of
Because I don't
everything.
know, I don't look at stuff like that, so I don't really know. So I'll just take your word for it that it's millions of people.
It's
Um,
bananas. Yeah.
Okay, I mean that's freaky. Um, the scripts. What is? I think honestly, I think the fact that you're seeing sort of the interior lives of these characters who are also so proficient at their jobs. I think that's fascinating, and they're messy in their personal lives in a way that I think is real and human, and also like as complicated and as smart and as elevated as the work they're doing. Like a lot of the relationship stuff is so basic and universal, and they're like petty in their personal life, and I think that's like fun to see people who are like you imagine having wielding so much power and influence in the world just being like immature and like annoying.
Yeah. In your character, Idra, you are the chief of the CIA. And not only that, but you are also, of course, a female. So when this role, when this role and this opportunity came across you, were you at all hesitant? Were you
Oh,
intimidated? Were you?
100%. Yeah, I mean, I went into the job being like, I don't think anyone's gonna buy me as this character. Like, I could barely buy me because I just was like, oh, people are gonna think this is like so TV to like cast, and there's obviously all this conversation these days about diversity hiring and blah blah blah, and I was a little bit like, oh gosh, am I gonna get heat from for that? Like, people are gonna be like, we don't buy her. And I emailed a friend of mine who has worked in the government for a long time, and I was like, listen, what I was like, I just got this job. Talk me through like what would she have had to have done career wise to get to this point? And he was, he didn't say anything about me being a female or Asian, but he was just like, you're young, girl. He's like, you are young to be in this job, and he was like, so you would have to be a rock star. And I was like, okay, that's really helpful. And so I was really intimidated because I thought she's going to have to carry herself with so much confidence.
Yeah.
Um, and so I thought about that a lot. Like, how do I make this real for me? What would I have had to do to have actually gotten to this level professionally? And I think that's a big part of how I think about Idra is like she is not intimidated by anything.
No.
Like me, Allie was like, I don't know if I can do this, and I remember asking Deb like, you think people are gonna buy me? And she was just like, they're gonna buy you because we're telling them to buy you, and she was basically like, buckle up. I was like, yes, ma'am. So yeah, I think that I was afraid of not being able to be convincingly confident enough. So like I just thought a lot about basically the opposite of my own impulses, which is like, I don't got to please anybody. Idra doesn't care what anybody thinks. She's
Yeah.
not, she's just so deeply mission driven. And I think knows fundamentally, like, she's really good at what she does and she doesn't need to prove anything. The work just speaks for itself. So I think that's nice about, and I also I talked to a lot of other women who have been CIA station chiefs, and what was cool about it was to see how many different versions of ways that you can hold power,
Yeah.
and there's no, and I think they were all they I got this advice from this amazing consultant on our job who was a station chief in various places around the world, and she was just like, listen, the job essentially is it's a people's job, it's a people management job, and like people have to trust you, they have to like you, they have to want to tell you their secrets. And I was like, oh yeah, I understand that, and you can do that. And she was like, and you get people to do that in the ways that are personal to you.
Yeah.
So that helped. And I was just like, yeah. So I think really, I think a lot about like stillness and just not not showing that I'm afraid, you know.
Yeah, wow. And I feel like, Idra has so many different layers. There is that badassness, if that's even a word, that boldness, very straightforward. No nonsense, like nonsense is not happening on Idra's end. But I want to talk about peeling back those different layers of the onion. You know,
Yeah.
in that character role, like what type of approach did you take? Because I also feel like Idra somewhat has an empathetic side of her as well that kind of unveils over certain episodes. But you personally, what did it take for you to peel back all of those different elements of that character?
Well, some of it is obviously the gift of the writing. You know, like as an actor, you are, I mean, and I see a lot of actors try to make more than what's on the page because that's what we're trying to do. But I feel like if the story isn't going to allow you to do that, there's very little sometimes you can do. So
Yeah.
I'm just so lucky that Deb gives me these little nuggets, but I'm also looking for every script, especially because, sorry, that's my little washing machine going off, my little song
Oh, I didn't
going in the
even
back.
hear anything.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, doing laundry in the back. Um, the thing that I look for in the script, because Idra is so capable,
Yeah.
and I think I'm always a little bit worried about as an Asian person. I've been asked to play a lot of characters who are like smart and like like sort of fleshing out the world of the main character to be like we can really have these jobs. And so I am always trying to humanize those characters because they're stand-ins for the real world. And so I think with Idra, because she's so unflappable and she's got this mask of like you don't know what she's thinking. She's not going to give you a lot.
Yeah.
I'm always looking for any moment in the script where I can either inject some humor or especially with the scenes with Stuart, where is that little part of her that like can't just be professional
Yeah.
and like the little bit that creeps out. And so even if it's like a second, I try to find moments of vulnerability, even if she covers it up right away.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's sometimes it's a game. You said some episodes there's none of that. Some episodes it's all business, and some episodes you get a little window in, and I just try to I live for those moments.
And I also feel like this story in this series, to me, is a little complex. Like, it's not the traditional, simple, series, drama series that viewers like fall in love with. There's simplicity in it, there's complexity throughout it. I want to talk about you finding like a healthy balance in it all. You personally,
Me personally,
Ellie.
in terms
Yeah.
of the like drama versus the jargon.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, uh, Carrie and Otto and I spent a lot of time just being like, wait, what is happening? Who
Mhm.
are we talking about? Like, so there's a lot of homework that gets done just to like keep the plot straight and to keep the world and the intelligence of the show straight.
Yeah.
And I mean, so that's a lot of just like the brass tacks homework is like drilling that information, checking with Deb, like, wait, what does it mean when they're talking about this? Knowing that I know exactly what I'm talking about so that on the day it can fly out of my mouth as if I talk about it all the time. And then in terms of the emotions of the story, like I'm so lucky because I have amazing co-stars. I have Otto Sando, Stewart, Carrie, and obviously, and just everybody is so generous and gifted, and so it's very easy to drop in, and we don't have. We also all live for the moments where our characters are just kind of shooting the shit. I'm sorry, I don't know if I can swear.
No, I love it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so and honestly, like the writing is so brilliant. It strikes the balance and we just got to be along for the ride. Like it's like you just got to be smart enough to know like, okay, this is a moment where in the writing, this is the tone we're going for. And it took us a second, those first few episodes, season one, to figure out like what is the show in? Um and some of it is like you got to, at least for me, I got to drill the technical stuff hard so that on the day I can forget it and then just approach it as a human being. If I'm thinking about that stuff,
Yeah.
you're dead in the water, you know.
And I want to talk about your castmates for a minute because I feel like the cast lineup is beautiful.
Yeah.
I could not imagine like any other key stars than yourself and your fellow castmates. Like, what are some of those things that you pull away from them, like when you're filming on set? Like, what are some of those characteristics that, for instance, you pull away from Carrie?
I mean, I have rarely worked with a number one as generous as Carrie. I mean, actually, never. Um, I think what's so amazing about her is that I mean, she gets her job done. We have a great time on set. We joke around, we laugh. She's so warm. But the thing is, she really is such a confident actor in that she's not afraid of letting other people shine and that is rare.
Okay.
And she will do whatever the scene requires. Like she's not worried about like making sure she gets her moment, and it's like
Mm,
so generous in that way, and understands that for this show and for this like that the beauty of the show is the ensemble, and that
yes.
and she gets more excited about like other people's scenes. Like when we're reading the script
Wow.
and we're like that. We're like, oh my God, I can't wait for that scene that you're not even in because you just read it and you can't wait to see what that person does. And it comes from the top. And Carrie genuinely wants to see all of us do our best work and gives the space for that and is like, what do you need? She's right there with you.
Yeah.
And I think it allows for all of us to do great work because we all feel like trusted and given the space to flesh out to the best of our ability the gem of these words, you know. And sometimes on sets you're tight because you're like, oh, I don't want to step on any toes, and like there's a lot of egos that are flying around, and the work that we do is sensitive and it is vulnerable.
Yeah.
um I'm not knocking that that happens. It happens, but yeah, Carrie is just she makes it everyone feels welcome, and I think that leads to the best work.
And just personally, Ellie, because I feel like I can talk to you forever. When you know that you are heading on set, this is going to be probably what, a 12, 14, 16, 18 hour like shooting day.
Yeah.
What does your preparation look like before leaving the home? Like, are you listening to music? Are you having a latte? Like, what's going on?
I mean, it's a lot. Like it's early. Like I get up really, really early. I usually, unless my call is like crazy,
Oh,
or crazy early, I always try to move in the morning. I try to move my body. And I got to be really awake before I get to set because this is not a show where I can kind of roll in. It's like I got my mind has to be so
yeah.
sharp. So I'm probably up 2 hours before they come get me. So I'm a nerd about it. Like I'm moving my body. Uh I definitely I'm making my food a food that I want. I'm making my coffee the way I want.
Yes.
and I'm doing my little like I meditate before I go. I mean, it sounds
Mm.
corny, but I do it. And listen, if I'm running behind, I do it in the car. Like
Yeah.
I put the earbuds in, and I just because also it's a long day. There's a lot of people. It's and so I just try to, and I have no music on before I go to work because I just need to be like quiet. Like
Yeah.
I really, really focus up before I go. And that's different from other jobs. It's just like it's less rigorous. Like
Hmm.
other jobs I can be a little looser. But there's no like if my brain isn't working for this show, it's not gonna be a good day.
Yeah, I love that. And as we get ready to wrap, congratulations on a season three.
Thank you.
What were your thoughts when you first learned that, yay, it's happening, we're in for another season? And how much do you know about season three? Like, what can we expect to see with Idra and your character's involvement?
I mean, we've actually finished all of season 3.
Okay, give me some tea. Come on, give me something.
Give you any tea. You know I can't give you any tea. But what I can tell you about Idra is that I feel like Idra season 3, like she in trouble. Like she's
Oh,
not in a good spot because of
okay.
the way season 2 ends. I mean, season 2, she takes some risks professionally because I think she feels like she has to. And season 3 is kind of the fallout of the consequences of what professionally of what happens. So that's what you can look forward to.
Okay, you gave me just a little bit. I'll take that. My last question for you. What can we catch you doing in your downtime on an off day aside from laundry? Like, and what are you
Aside
watching on TVs nowadays? Perfect, like
I mean,
personally.
listen, I was on that Severance and White Lotus train. Um, you
Join the
know,
world.
I was on that train. I mean, honestly, like I'm eating good food. Whenever I am traveling for, like, I am scouring the internet for where to eat, and I am in Korea, so it's like this is my motherland. I'm looking for interesting things. Today, I'm venturing a little bit off the beaten path. I'm gonna go for Indian here, which
Oh.
I haven't really. I've been sticking to the Korean food, but I heard there was like a local Indian couple making some really bomb roti. So I'm checking that out today.
Okay, fingers crossed for that one. Well, I'm so happy you have a day off. Thank you so much for your time. I
Thank you.
enjoyed talking with you, and I look forward to seeing what Idra is bringing to the big screen.
Yeah, she's in a hot seat. Yeah. So thank you so much.